Hey everyone, it's Dominic the Primetime Treasure Hunter. Thanks so much as always for coming by to check out another video. As you can see here, eBay just came out with its 2019 early seller update, and there's a lot of important information on there, most of which is very positive and very good for resellers. However, there's one update within it that has caused some concern and some consternation amongst some resellers, which is this one right here. The listing duration for all fixed price listings will be moved to good till canceled format in March. Now, if you're totally brand new to eBay and you have no idea what that means and why some people would be concerned about that, I'm going to talk about that in just a few moments. If you're experienced in eBay and you're wondering how is this going to impact you, is it good, is it bad, why are they doing this, how am I going to adapt, we're going to cover all of that in a few minutes as well. But before I do that, let me just put in a quick plug for an important interview I'm going to be doing later on this evening. That's February 27th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You could see the link right down here, so go set a reminder for it. Set an alert. It's my interview with Tony Boss. If you don't know Tony and that name is not cool enough for you to just come in and watch the interview, Tony has an extensive history working in the music industry with famous music artists and producers, and so he has a lot of information about music that can help you in your reselling business. He sells a lot of vinyl and CDs and tapes and those sorts of things, so we're going to get a lot of good insights about that, as well as Tony's insights about social media, because Tony, like myself, also runs a very good Facebook group for resellers, so we're going to talk about those things as well. So set that reminder. Come by tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a fun time. All right, so back to the seller update. Now, I actually just put a poll in my Facebook group about 7 hours ago, and if you're not a member of my Facebook group, it's right here, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. It's free to join, a lot of fun, a lot of good resources there. The link's down below. Come by and join, but you could see this is the poll I put out in which I asked people if they like this change about the good till canceled format, which is going to be the standard as of March for all fixed price listings. And as you can see, the majority of people, including myself, 103 people had entered no. There's about 73 people who just don't care, and there's about 32 people, including you, Aaron, I see you in there, who like it, and there's some other people who just don't have enough experience to answer, and I hope some of you are watching this. Now, regardless of what your position is on it, I'd love for you to put it down below in the comments section so people could look and explore, and I'm open to changing my mind with this, as I hope other people are as well. People generally don't like change, but as Rockstar Flipper says, if he's watching this, everything does change, and you really just need to adapt to it, or you're going to fail. So that's something he says as well, which is very true. I agree with that. I'm very Darwinian in many respects. Now, it's true that if a company or a reselling platform puts in place policies that everyone hates and doesn't like, then they're going to fail if another reselling platform comes out with something that everyone likes much better. So eBay also has to be responsive to what the sellers like and what the buyers like. So it's a fine line that they have to juggle sometimes. Usually when eBay makes policy changes that people don't like, eBay tends to stick with it, although sometimes they are amenable to changing. That actually happened a few updates ago when eBay made some changes about when you could or could not put items on sale. So that took a few weeks of people blowing up on social media about it for them to make a change in that regard. But I think this one is going to stick though, and let's go over exactly what it means. So when you go and list something, you have two main options in terms of your format in which you're going to sell. You could sell it fixed price, or you could sell it auction format. Now, none of these changes that eBay's putting in place have anything to do with auction style. You're still going to be able to run your auctions in 1 day, 3 day, 7 day, or 10-day format. That is not changing. So everything I'm saying only applies to fixed price format. So it's not an auction. You've put a fixed price in there for something. You may or may not be willing to accept the best offer, but you have put a price on your item that you are willing to take if someone buys it now. Now, prior to this change being implemented in March, what you are able to do currently, and you've been able to do for a long time, is you could set different listing durations for a fixed price listing. So you could say, I want it to end in 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, or 30 days. Now, in reality, most resellers pick 30 days. There are some that do 7, some that do 10. Most do not do 3 or 5, although there are some that do. Now, what happens with that is when whatever day you wind up selecting as when the listing is going to end, and you can see here in my active listings, I have some that are going to end soon, right? Some are going to end in 5 hours, 6 hours, and so on and so forth. Once it ends, you're going to get an email from eBay that's going to say your listing ended. Let's assuming it didn't sell, of course. It didn't sell, and now you've got to decide what to do. Are you going to relist it or sell similar, or are you just going to let it sit and decide, you know what, I'm going to wait until another time to try to sell it again, maybe when I could add other types of products to it to make it look more appealing, add value, or, you know, maybe I'll decide on repricing it at a later time. I'm going to try to sell it somewhere else, and if it doesn't sell, maybe I'll come back to eBay. Like, you could sit on it. Okay, so that's one option that you could do with that. And you know, of course, your other option is to just say, like I said, you could just say, all right, I'm just going to relist it right now. Now, if you choose good till canceled format, though, what's going to happen is it's going to automatically renew every 30 days. That's when it's going to do that. Now, why should you care about that? Some people watching this who are new might say, well, that's great. I don't have to think about it. It's just going to automatically renew. Well, the problem comes in with regards to insertion fees. So after a certain amount of time, depending on what your setup is with eBay, once you run out of your allotted amount of free listings, you are going to be charged insertion fees. So let's say, for example, you have 15-cent insertion fees. And let's also say hypothetically that you don't want these listings right here to renew. You'd rather take them off of eBay, and you didn't catch it. You didn't realize that these were ending. Well, what's going to happen is you're going to get charged 15 cents, now 30 cents on this one. Now it's going to be up to 45, 60, 75, 90 cents. So there's like a buck almost right there. And you might think, well, that's not a lot, but it's going to add up over the course of the year. That's one of the reasons why eBay's doing this, is that they are going to get a lot of extra money in insertion fees. But at the same time, while they want to get that, they also, and by the way, this is not based on inside information. I'm making assumptions here based on common sense, and common sense is follow the money when you want to know why people do things for the most part. That's a big motivating factor, is money, and eBay is a business after all. I'm not faulting them for doing this. I understand why they're doing it. In many ways, it makes sense business-wise, and eBay has the right to change their terms of service at any point. It's written within their, basically their existing terms of service says that they can change it at any time that they want. So they have the right to do it if they think it makes sense for their business, and if most sellers are going to be okay with it and roll with it at the end of the day. Now, if you go over here, you could see the different setups for stores. Now, the starter store is relatively new. That came out during a recent seller update, and that one's going to give you 100 free listings. Now, if you don't have a store, you're going to get 50 free listings. Now, basic is going to give you 250. That's what I have. You can choose to upgrade to premium. Premium is going to give you 1,000 free listings. And you can see there's a big difference there between the premium price and the basic price. Okay, if you're going to pay for a year, it's $21.95 basic, and if you're going to pay for it all in one year, it's going to work out to $59.95 a month. If you don't want to pay for the whole year at once, then you're going to pay more. You're going to pay $27.95 without doing it on a yearly basis, and you're going to pay $74.95. So most people choose to just pay the whole thing at once, and you get that yearly rate. But there's a big difference there. Now, I agree with others who have said there really should be a store that's in the middle of basic and premium that has 500 free listings. For some reason, eBay won't do that, probably because they just want this big jump from the $21.95 to $59.95. I actually think they would have better luck getting that if they had a middle rate, let's say like a $34.95 rate for some store in the middle of basic and premium that offered 500 listings, and then it would be easier psychologically. See, eBay, if you're listening, take it from a neuropsychologist. I'm telling you how to do this to make that jump a little bit better. People be more likely psychologically to jump to $59.95 if they're at $34.95 compared to if they're at $21.95. So just saying. But anyway, one of the reasons they're doing this is they're hoping that people who have, and again, this is just my best guess, no one from eBay told me this, but I think one of the things that they want is that people who have the basic store wind up having a bunch of items that start automatically just renewing because it's in good till canceled format, and they wind up accruing a lot of insertion fees, and they just say, you know what, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't have to worry about that. I'm just going to upgrade to the premium so I get to 1,000 free listings. So I think that's one of the motivations. Now, one of the things that could wind up happening with this, which could be a good thing overall for eBay, and it could even be good for sellers, because like I said, sellers are going to have to adapt. So if you do not want these listings to automatically renew, what are you going to do? Well, one thing that I saw someone mention is just quit eBay. Now, in my opinion, that doesn't make any sense. This is not the type of change that warrants quitting eBay. It just requires readjusting. That's it. Not retiring, but readjusting. And you know, there's different ways to do it. One thing that you can do is you can just check your listings every day and see when they are about to end. And if you don't want something to go back up again, like let's say I don't want this Ithaca beer apricot wheat beer tap to renew after it ends in 11 hours. Well, once it gets close to it, I could just hit this button right here and just hit end item, and then it's going to end. Now, some people are going to say, well, what about the people who are going to come in right at the end and right at the last minute and try to buy it? My experience, and I have been tracking this for a long time, is that while that does happen every once in a while, it's rare. What generally tends to happen at the end of listings, if someone's going to try to buy something, is they're going to assume they have leverage over you, and because they're thinking you're worried you're not going to sell it. And so they are going to try to lowball you on it at the last moment. So generally you're going to get a lowball. It's rare someone's just going to come in and just buy it at the last second. Sometimes it happens, but your greatest chance of selling the item is in the first few days. That's your greatest chance of selling it if you have a really good item. So of course, plenty of things sell within several weeks into the listing, but that is a great chance because eBay gives a new item a lot of fanfare and a lot of flash when it's brand new. So that's actually a greater opportunity you have there, is when it relists or when you sell similar. So now for people who say, well, now I'm going to have to go into my listings every day, I'm going to have to check. My response to that is, honestly, I've been doing that anyway. I do. I go in every single day and I look through my listings, and that's a good thing to do for a general business practice to be in. So in this way, I actually think that's good. I think that's good for sellers. If it's going to force you to go into your listings every day and look them over, that's good. Now, why is that good? I think, one, it's good to know when you have items that are ending, just to know that. I think because you have to plan about that. What do you want to do with it? You have to start thinking about that. Do you want to relist it? Do you want to repackage it with something else to add value? What do you want to do with it? Do you want to try to sell it in a different venue? It's good to have that plan. It's good to have that knowledge. Also, another reason I look at my listings every day is I want to know what's hot, what has buzz, what doesn't. And if something doesn't, well, is there something I did wrong? Did I type something wrong? Is there a typo? Did I price it wrong? I mean, what is going on? Did I put it in the wrong category? Did one of eBay's infamous glitches occur to mess my listing up? So it's important to go down and scroll through your listings every day to check into it. So I really don't think that that's a big problem if people have to do that. Now, one of the things I also think that can happen, and this could be good for the marketplace in general, if you think about it, people who have a bunch of eBay listings sometimes, like some people have like hundreds and hundreds of listings. Sometimes those hundreds and hundreds of listings are based on a lot of products that aren't really that good. They're just kind of junky products that they just threw out there. Now, if you're kind of someone who's on the cusp of, having a bump up into maybe another store level, or you're going to go over those allotted listing fees because you have a lot of those junky items, you may be now more likely to not put that type of stuff on eBay, or to package it differently, so that rather than having a bunch of other separate listings all over the place, maybe you combine those all into one listing or two listings or three listings where you're selling more product at once, so that you increase the chance of making the sale. In other words, what I'm saying is that it could, in a way, help increase the quality of product that's offered on eBay. And that could be a good thing for buyers, and that could be a good thing for sellers. I don't think that's the main reason why eBay's doing it, although I think in the end, if that does happen, again, that makes a better marketplace for everybody, and it does help. So those are the main ways that I think right now you're going to be adapting to this situation. If you don't like it, is you're going to have to be on top of your items and when they are ending. Because what happens with good till canceled also that I didn't mention is that it's going to carry over your prior watchers, which that can be good, by the way, into the next cycle. So they're not going to go away. That's one thing that is a negative in a sense for fixed duration, fixed price listings, is that once it ends and then you sell similar, if you hit sell similar, those watchers aren't going to carry over. If you hit relist, they can, but not if you hit sell similar. And a lot of people do that, including myself. So good till canceled, that won't happen. Those watchers will stick there. So I think people are, if they really don't like it, they're going to have to end it early, or they're going to have to bump up to a higher level of store. So there's a reason, like I said, there's a purpose why eBay is doing this. And if it's just, you're gonna have to run them. You're gonna have to run the dollar amounts. If the dollar amounts are that you're getting hit with too many insertion fees because of the good till canceled, you're gonna either have to end early to sum up. You're gonna have to get better quality items that sell faster and don't go past those 30 days, or you're gonna have to upgrade to another store. Or that's of course if you want to stay within eBay. If you're so upset about it that you don't like it, then you start cross posting more to other platforms and hope some things sell there. That's another way, because if you cross post things onto Poshmark and then they're not, didn't sell on eBay, well, then you're not going to have a relisting fee for that. So that's another option as well. And some people will just choose to move most of their product off of eBay. If you're primarily a clothing seller, some people will say, well, okay, you know what, I don't like that, I'm going to move it onto Poshmark now. So, it's up to you. I would advise experimenting with it a little bit. I wouldn't advise completely abandoning eBay over this, and try it out and see what model works best for you. So you may have other ideas. Of course, this is the first day after this announcement came out, so there's probably other thoughts and strategies that will come to me over time in terms of dealing with this, and time will tell. I'm sure I'll speak about it in other forums and situations. So I hope you found this video helpful, just going over the overview. If you have questions, comments, make sure you leave those down below. Remember, again, come to the Facebook group, come to my Instagram as well. That's at prime_time_treasure. Don't miss this interview tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing all of you there, and have a great rest of the day, everybody. Take care.